Welcome back everyone to the tour studio here at Burlington Country Club. This is lesson number 9 and we're going to get into the downswing. So I think the downswing and what I call the through swing, which is this part obviously, that's obviously the most important part of the golf swing. You know, we hear about grip, stance, posture, alignment, all that type of thing as being fundamentals. Well, to me there's one fundamental, controlling where the club hits the ground. That's the one fundamental that's important, obviously. So the downswing, the transition, that's what's going to allow you to control where the club hits the ground, okay? So, we learned in our last lesson, our transition is bump the hips, shallow the shaft. Now, the rest of the downswing is continuing to slide the hips. You know, I said in the transition that you slide in 2 to 4. That was simply for the transition. Okay? When you look at good golf swings, when they get to the finish of the through swing, okay, most good players' hips are 6 to 10 inches in front of where they started. Okay? So I'm going to emphasize that in the transition you bumped your hips 2 inches, 3 inches, something like that. Now we're going to continue to slide our hips as we get the club down to the ball, okay? And then we'll hit it, and then we'll go into our through swing. So today's lesson is going to be downswing. Next lesson we'll get into through swing. So you've learned a transition, get to the top, bump, okay, shallow. Now we're going to talk about what happens from there. So what happens from there is your hips will, you bump them, you shallow the shaft. Now from there, the hips are going to continue to go forward, but now they're going to start to rotate. Okay? You want to get your hips turning to the left if you're a right-handed golfer. Okay? I'm going to say fast, but I don't want you to overdo it in the beginning. I want you to learn the pattern before we get and add speed to it. So if you could just practice transition, and the rest of the downswing is nothing more than keeping your hips moving forward, okay, and turning them, okay? That's key, that's key, okay? So this is a shorter segment than some of the others because it's simply just talking of how we get the club from the transition point to impact. We'll get more in depth from there moving forward, but that's it for today. See you for lesson 10 and we'll get into the through swing.